Stone tools 2.6 million years ago. The first weapons ever made were simple yet revolutionary. Early humans shaped sharp blades, axes, and spear tips, giving them control over their environment and each other. These tools, first crafted by Homo habilis in Africa, were used for hunting, defense, and dominance. For over 2 million years, stone tools remained humanity's primary weapon, changing only in refinement. Their importance cannot be overstated. They turned intelligence into survival, marking the moment when technology and warfare first became intertwined. Spear, 400,000 BC. Long before swords or guns, the spear ruled the battlefield and the hunt alike. Crafted from sharpened wood and later tipped with stone or bone, it gave humans reach, power, and safety. Used by Neanderthals and early Homo sapiens, it became the universal weapon, simple to make, deadly in skilled hands, and effective whether thrown or thrust. For hundreds of thousands of years, the spear shaped how humans fought and hunted, a timeless tool that still survives today. Bow, 10,000 BC. The bow and arrow gave humans the power to kill from afar. The earliest known arrowheads come from southern Africa, dating back over 60,000 years, while the oldest surviving bows, such as the Holmgard bows from Denmark, date to around 10,000 BC. This innovation transformed both hunting and warfare. Archers could strike enemies before being seen, and the weapon's simplicity allowed entire armies to use it effectively. From Egyptian charioteers to Mongol horse archers, the bow became the great equalizer of the ancient world. For millennia, it remained unmatched in range, precision, and versatility. Bronze, 3,300 BC. The rise of bronze, a blend of copper and tin, marked humanity's first true arms race. Civilizations in Mesopotamia, Egypt, and the Indus Valley learned to forge durable blades, spearheads, and armor. Bronze weapons didn't just improve combat, they reshaped society. Rulers who controlled the metal controlled armies, and with them, empires. Warriors armed in bronze became symbols of divine power. For over 1,000 years, bronze defined the elite of warfare, gleaming proof that mastery of metallurgy meant mastery of the world. Horses, 2000 BC. The domestication of horses brought true mobility to the battlefield. First used to pull chariots in Mesopotamia and Egypt, horses soon became the driving force of organized warfare. They allowed commanders to move troops faster than ever and to strike deep into enemy territory. The Hittites, Persians, and later Scythians perfected mounted warfare, transforming battles from static clashes into fast-moving contests of speed and shock. For nearly 3,000 years, the warhorse symbolized power and prestige, dominating every major battlefield from the Asian steppe to medieval Europe. Iron, 1200 BC. When smiths learned to smelt iron, they unlocked the most transformative material in ancient warfare. Iron was harder than bronze and far more abundant, allowing entire armies to be equipped rather than a privileged few. Empires like Assyria and later Rome thrived on its strength, forging swords, spears, and armor that could endure repeated combat. The Iron Age brought not only better weapons, but new military systems, disciplined formations, professional soldiers, and mass mobilization. For centuries, iron-armed legions and conquerors shaped warfare across continents. Catapult, 400 BC. The catapult revolutionized ancient siege warfare. First developed by the Greeks and refined by the Romans and Chinese, it gave armies the power to destroy fortifications from a distance. Using tension, torsion, or counterweights, these machines hurled stones, spears, or flaming projectiles with devastating force. For centuries, catapults and later trebuchets dominated siege warfare, reshaping how cities were both defended and destroyed. They turned engineering into a weapon, proof that knowledge could shatter walls as effectively as any sword. Artillery, 1300s. The arrival of gunpowder artillery forever changed the nature of battle. First developed in China and refined across Europe, cannons brought the raw power of explosions to the battlefield. Early guns fired iron balls that tore through ranks of soldiers, shattered formations, and filled the air with smoke and terror. No longer limited to destroying walls, artillery became a weapon of annihilation, blasting men, horses, and fortifications alike. By the 15th century, its roar dominated battlefields across Europe, where entire units could vanish in a single volley. For over 400 years, cannons reigned as the ultimate tool of destruction, transforming combat from personal duels into industrial slaughter. Musket, 1500s. The musket defined early modern warfare. Evolving from the arquebus, it fired a heavy lead ball capable of piercing armor, rendering centuries of plate protection useless. Soldiers now fought in lines, firing coordinated volleys that replaced the chaos of melee combat. From Europe's battlefields to the conquest of the Americas, the musket became the weapon of empire, cheap, trainable, and deadly in numbers. For more than 300 years, it ruled the field, simple to use and devastating en masse. Bayonet, 1600s. First appearing in France in the early 1600s, the bayonet transformed the musket into both a firearm and a spear. Early plug bayonets fitted directly into the barrel, but by the 1670s, the socket bayonet allowed soldiers to shoot and stab without switching weapons. This innovation eliminated the need for pikemen and reshaped infantry tactics across Europe. Musketeers could now repel cavalry and charge after volleys, making the line infantry formation dominant for over 2 centuries. From the Napoleonic Wars to World War I, the bayonet symbolized the brutal intimacy of combat, a weapon of last resort and unwavering resolve. Machine gun, 1884. When Hiram Maxim built the first automatic weapon, he changed warfare forever. It rendered cavalry tactics obsolete almost overnight, as war horses fell before relentless streams of bullets. In World War I, machine guns defined the horrors of trench warfare, forcing armies into stalemates measured in mere meters. The weapon's efficiency reshaped tactics, strategy, and even geopolitics. It proved that industrial technology had finally surpassed human endurance. The era of mechanical warfare had begun. Rifle, 1885. Only a year later, firearms took another leap forward. The self-loading rifle allowed soldiers to fire multiple rounds without manual reloading, combining accuracy with speed. It turned every infantryman into a formidable marksman. By the mid-20th century, rifles like the M1 Garand and AK-47 had become icons of modern warfare, reliable, portable, and devastating. For over a century, the rifle has remained the backbone of the soldier's arsenal, an enduring link between the individual and the evolution of war. Aeroplane, 1914. When the First World War began, the aeroplane was barely a decade old, yet it transformed warfare completely. Initially used for reconnaissance, it quickly evolved into a platform for combat and bombing. Aces fought dogfights above the trenches while entire cities came under aerial assault. The aeroplane made war global, striking targets once thought untouchable. Control of the sky determined victory on land and sea. For more than a century, aircraft have represented both innovation and devastation, the power to rule from above. Tank, 1916. Born in the mud of the First World War, the tank combined armor, firepower, and mobility in one machine. Designed to crush barbed wire and break through enemy lines, early tanks were slow, clumsy, and terrifying to behold. By the Second World War, they had become the spearhead of modern armies. Tanks dominated the great battles of Kursk, El Alamein, and Normandy, proving their decisive role. For over a century, they have remained symbols of power and resilience, defining ground warfare in the industrial age. Nuclear bomb, 1945. In 1945, the world entered a new and terrible era. The detonation of atomic bombs over Hiroshima and Nagasaki demonstrated a weapon beyond comprehension. For the first time, humans possessed the power to annihilate cities in seconds. The nuclear bomb ended one war, but began another, the Cold War, defined by fear rather than fighting. For nearly 80 years, nuclear weapons have acted as both deterrent and doomsday, reshaping global politics and the very meaning of victory itself. Thank you for watching. If you learned something new today, leave a like, and tell us which weapon you think changed history the most. Don't forget to subscribe for more history explained in detail.